This letter in the Daily Telegraph of the 23rd of October was from somebody in Hampshire, and they were saying that, and we hear a version of this in various ways, and we've always heard it for several years, that why don't you give the English a vote, and you might be surprised at the result of such a referendum, and the Scots will finally leave us in peace. This is the idea. Some people in England think that if the SNP won a referendum, that somehow that would be the end of their complaints, and they wouldn't ever have to see Nicola Sturgeon or some angry Scotsman on their news every single day. Well, I have to inform you that whatever might happen in such a referendum, you won't stop hearing these angry Scots people. You won't stop hearing it. Imagine if Scotland did become so-called independent from whatever remained of the rest of a destroyed United Kingdom. Do you think that's the last time you're going to ever hear about what's happening in Scotland? No, because what you would find is that every single thing that went wrong in Scotland, and so much would go wrong in a separated Scotland, every single thing would be laid at your door. It would be laid at the Parliament that was remaining in Westminster, or it would be laid at the door of some English Parliament if such a thing were ever to be created. Because here is the thing about some of these Scottish nationalists, especially the ones that get to be legislators and MPs and MSPs. Their entire modus operandi is to complain about England, the rest of the UK, London, the British, the Union Jack. Their nature is to complain. That's why they gravitate to Scottish separatism as a political ideology, because it helps and it promotes their natural pessimism and sense of grievance, and often anger, and often bitterness as well. It's unusual in political ideologies, but Scottish separatism is certainly one of those ideologies. So they will always complain. They will always complain, and you'll never get peace, I'm afraid. You'll never get peace. The only way you get peace is like back a few years ago when the SNP were not the majority party. If they can be moved down or made irrelevant in some way, then they're not going to be on the telly so much, whether that's here in Scotland or whether it's British-wide. So the only way that you do it, the only way you're going to get peace if you're in England, is if we here in Scotland can somehow marginalise the SNP. But if we can't do that, then all of us are going to be subject to this forevermore, forevermore. And it doesn't matter if Scotland is separated or independent, if you want to call it like that, if you're a nationalist. It doesn't matter. What it means is that you'll still listen to these whinging Scottish people, these whinging Scottish politicians. I mean, we knew of their existence long before they ended up on the television in the rest of the United Kingdom. We knew that type of Scottish person, and we're like, please don't give them power, please. But unfortunately, they got power. And the question now is, how do we get them back in their box again? And that's going to be a long, tedious process, but it will be done. It will be done. But don't think, please don't think that if Scotland became independent, you would never hear from them again. You would hear from them, except you'd hear from them louder. Sad, but true. So that's all we're going to say about whinging Scottish politicians for the time being.